Thank you.
Hey, Limbo! Oink oink! Too many Twinkies!
Released on the 30th of July, 1986, Flight of the Navigator is a science fiction adventure about a 12-year-old boy named David Freeman who falls into a ravine on the 4th of July in 1978 and wakes up 8 years later, still 12 years old. Not knowing he's been gone, walking back to a house where his parents are now 8 years older and his little brother is even taller than he is. It grossed $18 million at the box office and found its true audience over decades of television and home video. So, where did they all end up? Sarah Jessica Parker was born on March 25, 1965, in Nelsonville, Ohio, the fourth of 8 children. Her father, Stephen Parker, was a journalist. Her mother, Barbara, ran a nursery school. Her parents divorced when Sarah Jessica was very young, and her mother remarried and had 4 more children, bringing the household to 8. The family often struggled to pay the bills. The electricity would sometimes be shut off, and there were years without Christmas presents. Her mother took all the children to free institutions, ballet performances, and theater productions in Cincinnati, determined that they would have full lives anyway. Sarah Jessica trained in singing and ballet and was cast in the Broadway revival of The Innocents at age 11, prompting the family to relocate to New Jersey. In 1979, she succeeded Andrea McArdle and Shelley Bruce in the lead role of Annie on Broadway and held it for a year. Through her mother's family line, she is a descendant of Esther Elwell, one of the women accused during the Salem witch trials, a connection she discovered on the television genealogy program, Who Do You Think You Are? She plays Carolyn McAdams, the NASA intern who befriends David and is the first person at the facility who treats him like a kid rather than a data point. After the film, Sarah Jessica Parker dated actor Robert Downey Jr. from 1984 to 1991. I believed I was the person holding him together, she has said of the relationship, which ended as Downey's drug addiction became impossible to manage. She appeared in L.A., Story 1991, Honeymoon in Vegas, 1992, Hocus Pocus, 1993, Ed Wood, 1994, and Mars Attacks, 1996, before being cast as Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City, which premiered on HBO in 1998. The show ran for 6 seasons and earned her 4 Golden Globe Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, and 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards. She married actor Matthew Broderick in 1997, introduced by one of her brothers at a theater company where they both performed. They have 3 children, a son, James Wilkie, born in 2002, and twin daughters, Marion and Tabitha, born via surrogate in 2009. She reprised Carrie Bradshaw in 2 feature films and the revival series And Just Like That, which ended its run in 2025. She is 61 years old as of March 2026. Howard Hessman was born George Howard Hessman on February 27, 1940, in Lebanon, Oregon. His parents divorced when he was 5. He was raised by his mother and stepfather, a police officer, and graduated from Silverton High School in 1958. He attended the University of Oregon and then moved to San Francisco, where he worked as a bartender at the Coffee Gallery, turned it into a hub for local musicians and artists, and eventually joined The Committee, a politically charged improvisational comedy troupe whose alumni included Rob Reiner. He performed under the stage name Don Sturdy during this period, partly to evade the Vietnam draft. He also worked as a DJ at KMPX, one of San Francisco's first underground rock stations, which would later directly inform the most famous role of his career. During his years in the San Francisco counterculture, he was a close friend and sometime lover of Janis Joplin. He plays Dr. Louis Faraday, the NASA scientist who persuades David's parents to bring the boy to the research facility, a role that requires him to walk the line between genuine curiosity about the impossible and bureaucratic self-interest, and which he plays with the easy authority of someone who has spent a career making authority figures sympathetic. After the film, Howard Hessman continued the work he had been doing for years alongside it. He was already famous as Dr. Johnny Fever, the anti-disco, burnout hippie DJ on WKRP in Cincinnati, 1978 to 1982, a role he had prepared for by actually working as a DJ in San Francisco and bringing his own real counterculture history to the character, earning 2 Emmy nominations. From 1986 to 1990, he played history teacher Charlie Moore on Head of the Class, a role he eventually grew frustrated with after feeling the show was not living up to its premise. He appeared in Boston legal School, That 70s Show, and House, and married his third wife, French actress Caroline Ducroc, in 1989, a marriage that lasted until his death. He died on January 29, 2022, in Los Angeles of complications following colon surgery. He was 81 years old. Veronica Cartwright was born on April 20th, 1949, in Bristol, England. Her family emigrated to the United States shortly after the birth of her younger sister, Angela, later famous as one of the Von Trapp children in The Sound of Music and as a regular on Lost in Space. Veronica began acting at 9, appearing in Leave It to Beaver and The Twilight Zone as a child, and was cast in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds 1963 at 14. Her career slowed in the late 1960s, then surged back with Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1978, and then Alien 1979. She had originally been cast as the hero, Ellen Ripley, but director Ridley Scott switched her role with Sigourney Weaver's just before shooting began. As Lambert, she had no advance warning that the film's chestburster scene would involve blood. When it appeared, what the camera captured was her unscripted, genuine reaction of horror. Her co-star Tom Skerritt confirmed this. What you saw on camera was the real response. She had no idea what the hell happened. She won the Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress. She plays Helen Freeman, David's mother, the woman who spent 8 years believing her son was dead and who has to absorb the impossible truth that he is standing in front of her, exactly as she remembered, the age he was when he disappeared. After Flight of the Navigator, Veronica Cartwright appeared in The Witches of Eastwick, 1987, earning a second Saturn Award nomination, and continued a career defined by her ability to bring genuine emotional vulnerability to genre material. She received 3 Emmy nominations for guest roles on ER and The X-Files in the 1990s, reprised her role as Lambert in the video game Alien Isolation 2014, appeared in 3 films in National Film Registry, The Birds, Alien, and The Right Stuff, and has continued working in film and television through the mid-2020s, including The Ruse 2024 and A Kill for a Kill 2025. She is 76 years old as of March 2026. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a new Where Are They Now video. We release them every week. Cliff DeYoung was born Clifford Tobin DeYoung on February 12, 1945, in Los Angeles, California. He graduated from California State University, Los Angeles, in 1968 with a degree in theater arts, but before acting became his career, he was already something else. The lead singer of the psychedelic rock band Clear Light signed to Elektra Records, which performed on the Sunset Strip alongside The Doors, Jimi Hendrix, and Janis Joplin. The band released one self-titled album in 1967 before internal tensions and poor commercial performance ended it. He moved to New York, starred in the original Broadway production of Hair, and appeared in the Tony Award-winning Sticks and Bones. He returned to California and starred in the 1973 television film Sunshine, a story about a young mother dying of cancer whose soundtrack featured songs by John Denver, including My Sweet Lady, which DeYoung performed and which reached number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1974. He plays Bill Freeman, David's father, steady and warm, the kind of movie father who never gets enough screen time but who grounds every scene he's in. After Flight of the Navigator, Cliff DeYoung continued what was already a long career of quietly excellent work. Harry and Tonto, 1974, Blue Collar, 1978, the Rocky Horror Picture Show sequel, Shock Treatment, 1981, in which he played 2 characters and sang a duet with himself, Glory, 1989, The Craft, 1996, and over 80 film and television credits in total, including guest appearances on Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, The West Wing, and JAG. He married actress Gypsy DeYoung in 1970, and they remain married as of 2025, 55 years. He is 81 years old as of March 2026. Joey Kramer was born on August 23, 1973, in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. He began acting in his early teens and had a small role in Runaway, 1984, and The Clan of the Cave Bear, 1986, before being cast as the film's lead. The role required a child who could carry an entire film largely alone, alternating between believable fear and genuine wonder, and Kramer did it at 12 with an ease that earned him a Saturn Award nomination for Best Performance by a Young Actor. He plays David Freeman, the boy who falls into the ravine and comes out the other side into a world that has moved on without him. The film's version of time travel is unusually honest about how frightening that actually would be. After the film, Joey Kramer appeared in a 2-part episode of Murder, She Wrote, and the Disney television film I, Man, 1986, then stepped away from acting to, in his own words, be a normal kid again. He returned to Canada's Sunshine Alpine coast, eventually working in a small sporting goods store. In 2008, he was prosecuted for careless storage of a firearm and received 3 months probation. Later that same year, he was convicted of possession of a controlled substance for the purpose of trafficking and sentenced to 6 months in prison. By 2016, he was battling severe heroin addiction, homelessness, and what he has described as constant suicidal thoughts. On April 28, 2016, he walked into a Scotiabank branch in Sechelt, British Columbia, wearing a disguise, a bandana, and a shoulder-length wig, and robbed it. 3 days later, he was arrested. He has since said that his arrest was such a relief and that he had been hoping it would lead to the long-term treatment he desperately needed. On June 8, 2016, he pleaded guilty to robbery, wearing a disguise to commit a crime, fleeing police, and dangerous driving. On August 31, 2016, he was sentenced to 2 years less a day, plus 2 years of probation, requiring him to attend counseling and reside in a narcotics treatment facility. He participated in Guthrie House, a therapeutic community inside the prison, which he has credited as transformative. Since his release, he has spoken publicly about addiction and recovery, completed his high school equivalency, reconnected with his daughter, and appeared in the 2020 documentary Life After the Navigator. He is 52 years old as of March 2026. Matt Adler was born Matthew D. Adler on December 8, 1966, in Los Angeles, California. He struggled with alcohol and drug addiction as a teenager and got sober at 17. He trained at the Lee Strasberg Institute and began working in Hollywood's teen film ecosystem in the mid-1980s, appearing in Teen Wolf 1985 alongside Michael J. Fox. In 1986, he auditioned for the role of Bill S. Preston Esquire in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and was one of the 4 finalists alongside Keanu Reeves, Donovan Leitch, and Gary Riley. The role went to Alex Winter. He plays Jeff Freeman, David's younger brother, who has spent 8 years growing up without him. The detail the film handles most honestly, because Jeff is now 16 and taller than his 12-year-old brother, and the look on his face when David comes home is one of the more complicated expressions of the whole film. After the film, Matt Adler appeared in North Shore, 1987, Whitewater Summer, 1987, with Kevin Bacon, Dream a Little Dream, 1989, and continued acting through the 1990s and 2000s with roles in Election 1999. Blow 2001, and The Day After Tomorrow 2004. He transitioned gradually into voice work and additional dialogue recording for major studio features, which now makes up the core of his career. He married actress Laura San Giacomo, known for Sex, Lies, and Videotape 1989 and Just Shoot Me in 2000, and helps raise her son, Mason Dye, who was born with cerebral palsy. He is 59 years old as of March 2026. Flight of the Navigator is fundamentally about what it means to be left behind by time, by circumstance, by the gap between who you were and who you're supposed to be. It is one of the stranger Disney films in that it never entirely resolves that feeling. The boy gets home, but he is not quite the same person who left. Neither is anyone waiting for him. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest Where Are They Now? Videos exploring your favorite casts from the past.